If you have entered perimenopause or menopause and suddenly you feel like your exercise routine just isn't working for you anymore, I am here to help you. All you need are a few simple tips and tricks to set you back on the right path again. But I'll tell you, I understand how frustrating it can be. My name is June Melia, and for the last 25 years, I have been working primarily with women, helping them get into great shape, get stronger, increase their endurance, and feel really happy again with their health and their fitness. Tip number one for you is make sure that your activity level is in the higher range. It is of the utmost importance that you are hitting the higher range on your step counts. So try your best to get up, get moving, move through the day. We churn through a lot more energy during the day if we're focused on movement than we do hitting the treadmill or doing something like that. Aim to get 8 to 10,000 steps in every day. I wear a Garmin watch. I find it to be super helpful, but anything else can work. You can find something cheap on Amazon, a little Omron step tracker that you just slip in your pocket. But you want to be sure you are hitting these higher ranges of activity for the day. And especially if you work a desk job and you are stuck at your desk all the time. If that sounds like it's really challenging to you, say you're still in the 3, 4, 5,000 steps a day, one thing you can do that might be really helpful is you can track how many steps you take every day for a week. And you might find there's one day that you get more steps. Maybe most of your steps are 4,500 steps all week long, but there's one day where you get 6,000 steps. Why don't you shoot for getting 6,000 steps every day the next week? And do your best to hit it. So then 6,000 steps becomes your new normal. And then you can do a climb from there. Maybe you can go one day a week, you get to 6,500, and then try to get all of your days up to 6,500. And try to do a ladder series where over the course of a month, you slowly edge your way up to 8,000 steps. And that's even an average. Like maybe some days you get 8,000 steps, and then on the weekends, maybe you find it easier to get 10 to 12, and then that averages out to be about 10,000 steps a day. If I go out for a brisk walk for 45 to 50 minutes, I hit my 10,000 steps automatically because that's about what you're doing. So when you think about 10,000 steps, that's about 4 or 5 miles of movement throughout your day. It's going to really help your metabolism to increase, your metabolic rate to increase. And that's what you really want. You want to be active throughout the day. So even those sort of typical things like you park your car far away in an awkward spot and come in, you take the stairs at work. At work, if I'm working in an office for the day, I actually am on the 4th floor. When I go down to use the bathroom, I go down to the bottom floor and then I'll use the stairs and I go up and down the stairs. And I utilize that in order to keep me moving throughout the day. Because those days when I'm in an office, I can easily be under 5,000 steps. And on the days I'm not working in an office, I'm up at 10, 12, 15,000 steps a day. So there's a big difference there. And so I have to be really mindful about that and make sure I'm getting the steps in. But my first real task for you is make sure you're being active during the day, because I also believe that if you're sedentary all day, like you wake up, you work from home, you're at a desk from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., you make dinner, you maybe drive your kids around to appointments or activities in the afternoon, I think that you're getting no activity in. You're either commuting or sitting all day long. I think getting steps and being active in bits and pieces through the day may serve you better than if you are sedentary all day and then you do a treadmill workout for 30 minutes. You really want to be moving throughout the day. It's really important. My second tip for you is to make sure that you're prioritizing strength training more than cardio. I am a cardio addict. I've done multiple marathons, half marathons. I've done a half Ironman, and I've done a 9-mile open water swim. I love endurance events, love. And since I turned about 45, I had to flip things around a little bit to make sure that I was prioritizing a little bit more strength training. So this is my challenge to you. If you are a real cardio gal like I am, aim for a half and half. So that means that if you go to the gym, do at least half of your exercise time as strength training. So that means that if you have an hour of exercise time, 30 minutes of that should be strength training. It will help you maintain your lean mass, which is the utmost importance as we get older. As we get older, we start losing our lean mass, and that is when our metabolisms start to crash. Lean mass helps prevent type 2 diabetes. It helps maintain our brain function. It helps maintain our hormones. It helps maintain our weight and our bones. So it's really important that we start to focus on strength training. And my third tip for you is add intensity to your cardio. Start adding briskness to your cardio. So that means that if you are doing something like 20 to 30 minutes of cardio, you need to have chunks of time on there where you are breathless. So that would mean that if you're doing a 30-minute cardio session, you warm up for 5 to 10 minutes, then for maybe 10 minutes, you are really sprinting for 30 seconds to a minute, and then you're backing off for 2 minutes. And then you're doing that again, and then you're backing off. And then you're doing that again, and then you're backing off. So getting away a little bit from the steady state, at least 2 or 3 times a week for your cardio, you want to be making sure that your heart rate is getting elevated, and then you are recovering. Now, if you're not used to doing intensity on a cardio machine, you're going to notice that in the beginning, it might take your heart rate a little time to come back down. And as you get more proficient at this, at bringing your heart rate up really high for a minute and then it dropping back down, you're going to find that at first you might need 3 minutes to recover, to feel like you can do it again. But eventually you might be able to do a minute on, a minute off, a minute on, a minute off, and feel like your heart rate actually fluctuates really well. And that's really amazing because that's a sign of fitness. Your fitness is shown by how quickly you recover. So that's why if you watch the marathon or something on TV or like a sprint, within 30 seconds, the winner can come in and have an interview and they're not like dead because they're dead after that race for 15 seconds and then they can get up and then they can actually spit out full sentences. So that's my third tip to you is start adding some intensity to your cardio multiple times a week to shake things up a little bit, to get some high intensity in there. I'm not saying you should be doing high intensity intervals like crazy. I'm saying for 10 minutes, increase and then decrease, a minute on, 2 minutes off, maybe do that 3 or 4 times just to shake things up. I'm not saying to do it for an hour. I'm saying to do it for 10 or 15 minutes because doing that too much is actually detrimental to our cortisol levels. So I wouldn't recommend doing it for long periods of time, but it's like a briskness, right? You'd feel like you were doing like a jog or like you were racing up a flight of stairs or something along those lines. That's what you want. So that's it for me. Those are my 3 tips for you. Maybe there's something that one of these things you found to be the most useful. Maybe you've already started doing 1 or 2 of these things. If you have, post below. Let me know if any of these tips have helped you in the past or which one of these you're going to do today. What are you going to do today? Are you going to try the cardio with a little intensity? Are you going to start strength training a little bit? What are you going to do today? Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like this kind of videos, you can always subscribe to my channel, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.